Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Reggaeton. Let's hunt. Are you finished with all your high society errands in this Grok's pen, Donald? The force has calmed down, but now I'm starting to lose my patience. I didn't know you were a doctor. It is time to go seeking Eldari. It's about time indeed, Donald. Calligos gives you a friendly pat on the shoulder and summons his retinue with a gesture. It may take a while to find their trail, but Wharton here has a keen eye, and a sense of smell can rival any old dog. We will do just fine. Especially with the forest being on our side now. Let's go, and try not to fall behind. I can have Ulfar carry me if I start to lag behind. He can whisk me away in his massive, power-armored arms.
I always keep my options open.
Only a 77% chance,
Duty prevails.
but we came out on top.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
It looks like some of the NPCs got stuck behind us. Also, is that Nocturne? A stately Eldari warrior steps forward, calmly looking at the intruders. His armor and its adornments gleam in the sun, despite the traces of dried mud and caked blood. Not a step further, Modkai. The smooth voice of the xenos sounds out of place in the rough wilderness of Quetza Temer. I grant you the mercy to leave the emerald halls of the children of Assyrian. Be gone, and never come back again. Vain rhetoric, a masterful display. Your temper, brother mine, you ought to quell. Bravado has no place within this play. Indeed, the merchants prove this all too well. This actor excellent who did alight upon the stage, now this piece complete, by choosing a finale apposite has to rhyme with the light. Who shall survive, and who their doom shall meet? Nocturne of Oblivion's mournful horned mask admirably tracks your face. It is difficult to say with certainty, however, you are of the opinion that Nocturne of Oblivion's disposition toward you is better than that of his kin. I do not know about you, Donald, but these Xenos bastards are giving me the creeps. Calligos shifts his excited gaze from the Eldari warrior to the solitaire and back. This one, the dappled motley. I want to kill him. Right now. Wharton the Grey bares his teeth in anticipation and clutches the hilt of his sword. Examine the Eldari's camp. Xenos made their camp among the ruins of an ancient city of the Imperium. Only the alien growths of the Xenotech and the wreckage of the Eldari ship disturb the picture of centuries-old devastation and rebirth. Despite the demonstrative ease, most Xenos are pushing themselves to their limit. They're exhausted, nervous, and frightened, even if they hide it well. This may have eluded your companions, but not you. Nocturne of Oblivion. It has certainly been a while. What are you doing here? The solitaire mockingly presses a finger to the mask's lips, indicating he is not going to grace you with an answer. During your last encounter with Nocturne of Oblivion, you made it clear that you do not seek an ally in him. Well, the less words exchanged with Xenos, the better. You're guilty before this world and the Imperium. Time of retribution is at hand. And I'll become your scourge. Calligos howls. His eyes are brimming with inhuman fury. Purge Quetza Temer from the filth. Blood for the rogue trader's throne. Okay. So, if I wasn't so certain he was already corrupted by Khorne, or at least on that path, That would give it away. For those of you unfamiliar, those who worship corn often say, well, blood for the blood god or skulls for the skull throne. That's kind of a mix of both battle cries. Alright, Heinrichs, look out. They have rangers.
Victory is imminent. Indeed.
The wolf is on the hunt.
A player. Fickle Hollowfield. Grants 50% dodge against all ranged attacks from a distance of 2 cells or farther. If the winner suffers damage, the Hollowfield fades until the end of round. Harlequin's Kiss. I don't see anything unique to him. It's all assassin talents. Besides Harlequin's Kiss.
Am I getting paid for this? I can do that, with the right incentive. Guided by faith!
That was some very poor positioning on their part. Another stack of versatility. She can stay there.
Pain cleanses the body. You've got a problem, I've got a problem. Jai Hedari. Remember the name.
Secret Prizel where there could be peace. Let's read that real quick. Secret Prizel where there could be peace. Raise a blade of vengeance overhead. Which hardship will rain down upon your house. That blade is I. Until we meet again.
Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands.
I'll do it. I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. As the Emperor commands, I act. Each strike is a prayer.
Alright, that's all that's left. We'll park her right here.
Scars adorn our bodies.
Well, it wasn't an impressive amount of damage.
Who if not me? I'll see to it personally. On it.
The Emperor is on our side. Merely an interlude. Amidst the carnage, I find purpose.
Blood for the Blood God. Yeah, he's corrupted. And a little buggy.
Death shall reign.
It will be
All
done.
the signs were there, but then he has an ability called Blood for the Blood God that 100% gives it away, in case you missed it up to this point.
At your beck and call. Grey hair, sure hand.
The art.
I took care of this one.
Ha! Ha 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 ha. Calligos Winterscale is standing in the heart of an abated battle, covered head to toe in the blood of his enemies. His excited smile gradually twists into a grin, and his glazed eyes emanate an alarming coldness. The Xenoscum struggled to the very end, and that's what I call a hunt. It's a shame I missed the garishly dressed one. I wish I could have cracked his horn mask along with his skull. Weren't the Grey nods at every word of his master, licking the fresh blood off a thin blade. Blood for the Rogue Trader's throne. Did I hear that right? Hear what? Winterscale shrugs his shoulders incredulously. I don't remember saying that. If anything can trip off the tongue in the heat of battle. This has been a riveting hunt, Calligos. You and I now share the bond of battle, Donald. Let me know if you ever feel like shooting some Xenos. I might just bless you with my company. Calligos winks at you. And I in turn will have no choice but to invite you on my future hunts. Surprised Heinrichs doesn't detect the corruption on Calligos. Your style of combat is interesting. Better than yours, that's for sure. Calligos' tone is provoking. There's nothing better than raw power and direct blows. Standing face to face with your foe with an axe in hand, breathing in their fear and rage, crushing them with your own body. Only in such moments do I feel truly mortal, and exhilaratingly alive. I bet I killed more Eldari than you did. Do my ears deceive me? A challenge. For me. Winterscale roars with laughter. I usually don't kill my foes in the middle of a battle. We'll make a wager next time. Oh, some foreign worshippers do, like Karn. He has a counter on his helmet. Keeps track of all of his kills. Now, wiping out all the Xenos was unnecessary. They could have told us something about the homunculus. Or you were lied to, and there's no homunculus on this world at all. When was that confirmed? I think, had I not attacked the Eldari right away, they may have told us something about that. In any case, you can ask the locals. The Psychers talk to the trees or some such nonsense. Maybe one of their dire oaks will tell you something. He offers you a sarcastic smirk, enjoying his little joke. What now? Silver sparks flash at the ends of Speaks with God's hair, distracting Calligos from the conversation. The priest shudders as if from cold, moans, claws at his face with his nails, and throws his head back to face the sky. In the Deadlands, there's a monster whose body is made up of bodies sewn together with rusty threads. It waits for a fallen star, trembles, hides, and guards a secret that is darker than a starless sky. A secret about the past and the thoughts about the future. The priest's violet eyes glow gold, then return to their original color a moment later. His gaze dims. He comes back to his senses, blinking apologetically. Throne's gold. I forgot how much excitement you can have with an unsanctioned psyker. Winterscale smiles, as pleased as if a rare treasure had jumped into his hands all by itself. Let's call this my parting gift to you, Donald. You wanted horror stories about the homunculus, and it's off to the Deadlands for you. As for me, I'll finally go to the Emperor's Vow, to my cozy cabin with a bottle of Calixian Amasec and a hot bath. I'll see you among the stars, new blood. Stay on your toes around the self-righteous, and try not to perish in the warp before our next meeting.
Is there money to be made?
So I wonder if he's going to be the final boss.
Speak, et Vater.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Upgraded shuriken pistol. We'll see how that compares to Jai's current equipment. Suin Kaleen. When this weapon hits, the target must pass a toughness test with a minus 35 penalty or become blinded for 1 round. Now Dari Farseer Mesh Armor. Wearer's chances to suffer a critical hit are reduced by 20%. Base armor property, plus 15% if the wearer's willpower is more than 70.
Let us not dawdle.
Dirt-covered Vox. You know, Stanzo, I miss the times when fire cultivators were only used for working in the fields. Back then I thought, by the throne, darn that forest. Can't take your eyes off it for a tick, or else it'd mess with production. But nowadays, the darn forest is the only thing that can defend people. Who'd have guessed? And we, the Savarius, are the only ones who can pass through it. If we have our fire cultivator intact, that is. I did hear, though, that one of the astropaths managed to lead a group of 50 people through the brush, but nobody has heard from them since. The enemies of humanity got them, didn't they? Come meet us halfway. I'm leading a new group, and the Prometheum in my cultivator is running out.
I always have a backup plan.
$22 to $30, $28 to $42. Let's equip that. Let's go ahead and swap this out too. Does more damage, but it's got a shorter range, so I'm not going to swap to that. I'm not too worried about the toxic damage anymore because the enemies don't usually survive that long. If this worked with defensive stance, I'd keep it, but since it doesn't, I don't need to. I think the stabilizer bracers are better than the arsonist bracers. Mostly in general, but especially right now since we have such a high crit chance. These are tempting on Heinrichs. I really like the extra critical damage on these boots, but as we saw, he's fairly squishy. So having a higher parry chance and rerolling dodge tests. He has a decent strength score too. It scales with strength, so we'll get rid of these. This seems like a main character item. What do we have? Yeah, it's not as good. This I will keep, though. Get rid of this. So I wonder if this gives Argenta 2 kicks per turn. This is pretty good. I'm not going to get rid of it yet.
Keep your wits about you.
Let's head back to the village and speak to... Well, whoever speaks with gods is going to be there. It goes to the shuttle.
I
wonder if I have to go back to the ship
open.
and then come back to the planet to go to the Deadlands. Calligos said we had to speak to the Psychers. Or the Dire Oaks, as he said. Oh, we can't talk to her. Let's get back to the shuttle. I'll get back to the ship. We'll do some trading.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Picked up a lot of Xenos artifacts, so both the Fellowship of the Void and the Caspalica want those. We will prioritize the Fellowship of the Void because we have that project waiting on reputation with that faction. I think it's 40,000 that we need. I'm speculating that the final boss might change, or at least a later game boss might change depending on what your alignment is. Like Calligos might be one of our bosses because we're dogmatic and he's a heretic. And maybe Calcazar or Chorda is a boss if you're a heretic because they're dogmatic. And maybe you have to fight them all if you're Iconoclast. Oh, 4,000. Oh, we get Earthbreaker. Each attack with this weapon decreases the target's agility, toughness, and strength by 4, even when parried or dodged. Grimoire of Void. This Grimoire increases the chance of triggering psychic phenomena by 15%. All warp damage dealt by its wielder is increased by 2 times willpower bonus. Poet's Grace. The wearer gains plus 25 commerce and plus 25 persuasion. Seems like a main character item. I don't see Early at needing that. Precinct Vox Relay. If an ally under the effect of the wearer's Bring It Down ability successfully hits an enemy with an attack or targets them with an ability, the wearer gains +1 fellowship and willpower until the end of combat for each different enemy hit or targeted. So it'd work on Abelard, but he has such a low fellowship score already, I don't think it matters. And I've been avoiding fellowship scaling talents on him. If my main character was a naval officer, I'd Bring It Down. No, it's Bring It Down. Hold on a second. I was thinking it was the officer ability. The naval officer ability. Brace for impact. So, might be a good item for my main character. Let's level up Pascal and Cassia real quick. Yasu Strategic Offensive. I should have had this on him a long time ago. Oh, I didn't select it because I had him and Jai in the party. I didn't want redundant talents. So every enemy killed in the frontline area increases all bonuses of combat tactics areas by +1 until the end of combat. I do wonder if they would stack. This effect stacks between two grand strategists in the same party. I guess demolition. Cassia. Next navigator power, stable routes. Whenever the navigator uses a navigator's ability, fail degradation is reduced by -1. And awareness. It's still hard to pass. Well, it's hard to pass up his current equipment. It is a good item, but it's something that ramps up in combat doesn't last that long, especially since it's only +1. Hi, Stalking Boots. If the wearer has melee weapons equipped in both hands, their slash ability makes an additional melee attack with a secondary weapon. And some antitoxin. And we'll see if we have enough reputation with the Fellowship of the Void to do that last project, which I think is on Yanis. Yep, the Lost. The Expanse is burning, testing the mettle of its void pirates. They're ready to pay an exotic xenobeast for such simple things like air and provisions. So it requires 41,000... Okay, I was off by 1,000. 41,000 reputation with the Fellowship of the Void, and 6 provisions. We get the Fang of Perdition. The wearer gains +15 coercion and +15 lore xenos. We get +5 profit factor, 5,000 reputation with the Fellowship of the Void, and 7 chemicals. That might be enough to max them out. That's how it worked with the Mechanicus or the Drusians. Maybe both. So let's knock out that project real quick. We'll just jump between systems. Oh, misclicked. And no combat. That was convenient. So with that project complete, should have more stuff to claim from the Fellowship of the Void. Then maybe all that's left is the Casbalica, which is mostly, well, they have a lot of Xenos stuff, and I have no Xenos left in my party, so I don't really need them. I just want to see real quick if we maxed it out. Not quite. Oh, how high it goes. Up to 35. Well, let's go and grab it. So we get Carnage. So each successful hit with this axe increases the critical damage with this axe by 25% until the end of combat. Axes have a special attack that inflicts bleeding. Pain Blocker, Bone Shatterer. All types of physical damage dealt to targets hit by this shotgun pistol are increased by 33% for 2 rounds. And Demolition Instructions. The wearer gains plus 25 demolition, and their area attacks with weapons do an additional plus 10 demolition divided by 10 damage. Okay, that's gonna be really good on Argenta. And I guarantee it's better than whatever she has equipped. Plus our AoE damage already scales with demolition, so that's obviously intended to synchronize with a build that does that. Yeah, what is this other junk? Get out of here. I mean, this is kind of cool. Do I want to swap this out, though? I kind of like my Negotiator pistol being really weak, so I can use Bring It Down on an ally without actually hurting them. But this is basically has the melting effect. But it's only physical attacks. I think it's time for a change, right? That +5 to persuasion or whatever it does is not that useful at this point. But we'll keep it anyway, for nostalgia's sake. Alright, looking good. Well, next time, we will return to Quetza Temer and see if we can enter the Deadlands. And possibly take care of Tavantius. Either way, for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.